You can't replace part of the brain. Like, you
treat them the same.
A source of truth for the medtech industry.
Coexists with the province.
Robot understands things automatically.
Number one show in the medtech industry.
So Stryker got ahead of that and changed in the 90s, built $1 billion company that held up high, a lot of things.
State of MedTech.
With your host, Omar and Khatib.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the State of MedTech. I'm joined today by Neda Razavi, who's the CEO at iSono, which is the world's first AI-driven, portable, and automated 3D breast ultrasound scanner. That was a mouthful. Neda, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really excited to cover your company. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Absolutely. So, your company stood out to me because, women's health is one area that definitely needs a lot more funding, a lot more innovation. And you have a very interesting company in the sense that it combines a variety of really unique technologies into one. And so maybe before we jump into the company, the problem you solve, maybe a little bit of background in yourself.
That's great. I have spent the past 24 years in the medtech and tech bio industry, when I have commercialized products from early inception to market, commercializing technologies like genomics, like diagnostic and coagulation testing, or even biotherapeutics has been what I've done for top industry providers like the S&P top 50, like Abbott, Medtronic, Roche, and Illumina, Baxter. I joined iSono Health about 8-9 months ago. After investing in the company early on in 2019, this was before the company had FDA clearance, because I was so impressed with how they have brought the technology together and the innovation and disruptive technology that they came up with. So very excited to be here. I have spent my time as a bench scientist. I'm a cellular biologist in the lab to know that I'm better made for the commercial side of science. When I started selling medical equipments like laser equipment or hospital and large equipments, I did a lot better than the bench scientist. Then I got my MBA in finance and spent the rest of my career in marketing, strategy, and product management. And later on, because of my passion for genomics, I did another advanced degree with Stanford at genomics and genetics. Here I am, very excited to be speaking with you.
Fantastic. I love that. So let's talk about the company. First of all, what's the main problem that iSono solves?
Definitely. So iSono is, we are the team that is turning the science fiction into a medical reality. At iSono, we are on a mission to make early cancer detection seamless and so close to care, wherever the care is provided, that it becomes routine part of life, not a life-altering event. The problem we're solving, first I'll tell you the handful that you describe our product. It's an FDA-cleared Class 2 medical device, and it's the world's first AI-powered, portable, automated, and 3D ultrasound. This automation technology is making it accessible and personalized early detection at the point of care. Our first focus is breast cancer. So instead of waiting for the results, we are changing this, and we want to make waiting for results as outdated as a pager. Remember those days we had a pager? We want to have that ability of thinking outside the box and solve the problem of lack of ability to do cancer screening at the point of care. So I'll show you more about the product at a later time. Right now, what is happening in the healthcare, we're solving the problem of access, as well as problem of cancer screening, and also a problem of missed cancer at the point of care for breast cancer first. There are too many lives lost because the current imaging methods are either too slow, too expensive, or just inaccessible to be provided early enough for the patients to prevent them from dying from cancer. We are changing that with using a technology that is able to provide this imaging without the need for sonographer, make a high quality image available at any time, at anywhere, without that need of sonographer, and also decouple the image acquisition from reading. So you still, no matter if you take this image at the South Sahara, Africa, you still can read this image somewhere in South San Francisco and get the same radiology quality as you would get if you were in the first world country.
Got it. So the two, it sounds like you solve two big problems. Number one is access, because obviously most ultrasound machines, they're not portable, right? So that's problem number one. I think what's interesting is the second problem that you guys mentioned about solving, which I think is the bigger one, which is this issue of reading the ultrasound, right? Because it's still essentially done by humans, and you're solving that by applying AI to that, to essentially in some ways, and I don't like to use the term, but it's applicable here, democratize how ultrasound readings are done. Is that correct?
That is correct. And I would add a third item to this. We are solving for the shortage of the skilled labor at a lot of institutions at the point of care. For a sonographer to become a sonographer, they have certification and degrees. For being a breast sonographer, they pass additional degrees. So when you think about what is happening today at point of care, is that physician, the primary care or OBGYN, they see the patient, they say, oh, it's time for you to go for a screening. They send them to a radiology center. In a radiology centers, they have a mammography technician, they have an ultrasound technician that is in the biggest shortage of all time. If you just Google search, the shortage of sonographer is one of the biggest problems they have. And then the patient will have to wait for finding the right technician schedule available to be scheduled to go back for their.
Why is there, so that's surprising to hear. So you're saying that there's a shortage of ultrasound sonographers, in terms of the techs. Why is that?
That's a very interesting question. There's a lot of publication and literature written about it. A lot of these sonographers, either, first, breast sonographer is a different specialty, so they have to advance more and study and get another license degree. It's just not enough sonographers out there. They cannot find enough of them out there. There's a big fear also that machines are replacing these people. Also, there are a lot of work injury in sonography that prevents them from staying long-term in the career.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Where are you guys right now in your regulatory pathway? Because again, you're a class 2 medical device, but then also you have AI involved, which makes it more difficult. So where are you in your regulatory pathway and your commercial plan?
So if you think about our device that automates the task of sonographer, that's the mechanical, hardware, and software piece. That piece is already FDA cleared medical device, class 2 medical device. But if you think about, there is another layer to our company, our product and offering, which would automate the cognitive task of sonographer. Think about it. This is a virtual sonographer that knows, oh, is this a malignant or benign tumor? Is this something that, do I, classifying it as a malignant or benign, or is it helping him with auto detection, or reducing the time for reading with triage scoring and increasing the estimating the risk and bringing it top and front for the radiologist to read them. That part, we are scheduled to submit for 6 different AI products starting in Q3 of next year, 2025. So it will be a series of different submissions.
Got it. And then currently, do you, just for the investors who are listening, do you have any pipeline that's built, a customer pipeline? Where are you in terms of your adoption?
Oh, so this is a problem that is front and center for the imaging society. So if you ask the radiologists right now, they all know, first of all, breast cancer is one of the top leading cancers in women and kills a lot of women. Last year, we had 44,000 women die out of breast cancer. At the same time, we know the breast cancer is 99% treatable if caught early. And we have a national screening program for breast cancer, and there's only 5 cancers in the U.S. that are, paid for by the government for national screening. Breast is one of them. So despite the national screening, still we have 44,000 people die last year. Why is that? Because 3 things is happening. One is our existing technologies are not enough. for detecting all the cancers early. Mammography misses cancer detection for dense breasts. And that's 50% of the time, as if you bet your life on the toss of a coin, right? And so they know there's a big shortage or there's a big need. We have received, I told you all this story to tell you the amount of excitement that we have received from our end users and customers, where 232 people people that are clinicians, went on our website, requested a demo. This is separate from 973 that contacted us for different purposes and reasons to ask a question or other things. We have tremendous interest lined up for us to take this product to market and fill in the gap that is not already filled.
So what's preventing you guys from going, I guess, selling it today? You know, why wait?
That's a great question. You know, you interview a lot of medtech companies here, and to take a medical product to market, there are some procedures in place that need to be done. We need to have manufacturing readiness, having manufacturing plants, equipment and facility, workforce training and process validation. We need to have a quality system readiness in place where our QMS, which we already have a QMS, quality management system, is ready for design transfer, for risk management, for product testing and supply management quality system, as well as supply chain readiness and regulatory compliance. So we need to do a FDA registration and listing, post-market surveillance, and a lot of these activities. We are heavily relying on investment funding to make this stage possible. However, because of overwhelming demand, we have released the product to our first customer last week in New York, which is a great start. We see our customers are too excited to wait, so they're excited to fund us to help us get to the next level.
That's fantastic. You know, before we talk about like how much you guys have raised and the TAM and everything, at the moment, have you guys completed any clinical studies? Do we have any papers published, or is that what this, recent customers are going to be focused on?
That's a great question. We have reviewed or have done a study for 180 patients across 3 sites. And that study is not published, but we have written abstract and also had oral presentation at conferences like UltraCon and ASBRS. We have also trained our algorithm on ACREAM 6666, which is a landmark study that compared mammography to ultrasound. And we have data on that and abstract on those training algorithm and how our algorithm have performed. We have received indications of receiving a $2 million grant award from NIH. That will be a start of a new study for us. We are planning to do an 800 patient study. That study will help us with a lot more clinical validation across multiple academic medical centers that I'm not disclosing, but it's a multi-site clinical evaluation that we are going to be performing to further strengthen what we believe our technology is capable of doing.
Fantastic. So, just to kind of put the numbers into context, what does your market look like, at least here in the U.S., in terms of number of cases and usage and everything? What's your addressable market look like?
The addressable market for ultrasound as a supplemental screening is 38 million women every year. So that's the number of people that will need to do supplemental screening. There is about 80 million women over age of 40 that perform first-hand screening for their breast health, and about half of them, or a little bit less than that, will be qualified to do supplemental screening. We're talking about a tremendous market opportunity. Also, think about us as redesigning that we are beyond thinking outside the box. We're redesigning the box. We're thinking if a woman goes to OBGYN and they do a pap smear for why can't they not do a health breast exam right there? We want to make this product so accessible that any point of care, like primary care office or OBGYN office, can acquire the image and send it to the radiologist for reading. and not only shortens the time to read, but also increases ability to have access. If you look at the health equity of what is happening, there is a big need. Over 70% of breast cancers death are right now in low and middle income areas, especially in premature women. Premature is under age of 70. Also, if you look at the Black women population, 40% are more likely to die from breast cancer and get aggressive breast cancer at younger age. Having a point of care device that can help them detect earlier is going to change these numbers for better.
Fantastic. What about, so how much have you guys raised to date, and then where are you in your fundraising?
Hold on to your chair. I have a good news here. We only have raised $8.6 million to have a product from concept and ideation to FDA clearance. And from that number, 1.7 million of it is non-dilutive funding by the National Science Foundation. We are very grateful for government support and the trust in our technology that we can help the population health with our services and product.
Fantastic. And so now moving forward, of course, like once you start commercializing, there's a requirement of like marketing and sales, and things start to get expensive. So what are you looking to raise in your next round? Like, and would that round be, I guess, would it be a seed, a Series A?
We are looking to raise our Series A right now, and it's going to be exciting. This is not a typical Series A. We are already entering the growth stage. We are entering the commercialization stage, and our goal is to raise at the level that will be self-sufficient and break even in 3 years after that.
Fantastic. And then in terms of like investors, like what are you looking for in an investor at this stage? I mean, money is very expensive these days because of these interest rates, but it is still a commodity. And so finding the right investors early on are important. So like, what are the qualities you look for a good investor at this stage?
That's a great question. I have thought about like who makes a good investor. And one thing that, of course, the investor that provides money and supporting it is able to support our company in different stages of our growth, but also an investor that has the experience taking companies in the next level and helping us grow as a company. As if you think about our technology, this is a platform that can be applied in different areas of body. My hope is that we keep growing and taking the company to the next level of innovation and disruptive technologies that we can come up with. So an investor that really cares to make a difference in healthcare, to bring care closer to home. An investor that is thinking outside the box and is thinking about AI, automation, and robotics all together, that is so simple for the healthcare professional to provide and for the patient to use, and also isn't very inexpensive. Someone that can help us grow.
Got it. And then in terms of going to the next level, when you think about, every medtech company is built to either stay private and get acquired or go public and then get acquired. And that's kind of like the nice pathway in our industry is that you have a very clear path to an exit. When you think about potential acquirers, like who catches your eyes in terms of like companies that you really love the way they think about women's health and imaging? Feel free to drop their names here. I'm curious who comes to mind for you.
So, I would think about 3 categories of potential acquirer. My goal is to build a sustainable company that brings value to our society and increases early cancer detection so we save more lives. But if you think about it, there's a lot of imaging companies that are gigantic, big names in the market that are looking for ways to grow. They're looking for areas of market to serve better. They know they have a lack of access in so many areas they call radiology deserts, right? They are looking for ways to provide care closer to home. It will be a very good target for them. You can think about all the big names that you would know, like the Hologic of the world, the GE, the Philips, the Canon, Toshiba, Fujifilm, right? So think about all of these big providers that are known name in the industry. I would also think about some of the new and modern ways of providing healthcare that would be interested to talk to us. I would say like a Amazon, or the ones that are thinking about changing how care is done for patients would be interested in companies like ours that are thinking differently outside the box.
Yeah, that'd be very interesting, especially considering that a lot of these larger companies in tech, the Amazons, Microsofts of the world, et cetera, have fiduciary responsibility to continue growing, and healthcare is like one of the main areas for them to get into. I think like in terms of growth, healthcare in terms of spend and revenue is the largest industry in the United States. Yes. I want to go back to something on the product side. So on the ultrasound, that I think a lot of people understand. You've talked about ultrasound, or in our previous conversation offline, you talked about ultrasound as a service. Can you talk a little bit more about that? And then how does that move into your business model? Because your business model is, at least on surface, you see there's some capital equipment involved along with disposables. But tell us about this ultrasound as a service.
So that's a great question. As I mentioned, one of our goal is to increase access, and increasing access requires more than innovation and disruptive technology in the technology. It requires commercial innovation as well. So the way we think about access is, okay, how do I make this commercially accessible for the providers, an OBGYN or a primary care that is not used to buying capital expenditures product? Radiology groups are a lot more comfortable with capital expenditure. So one of our offerings is to provide this hardware as a lease or no cost for the hardware, and only charge per scan. And that empowers a lot of other providers this is a reimbursed procedure, by the way, by both private and public insurances. And the different commercial model will empower a lot of different providers to be able to offer care where patients need it.
Got it. And what about just on the product side itself? Like, how are you training? How are you training the AI model that you guys have, and how does that all work?
So our AI has been trained on the available data sets in the market on a 2B ultrasound images. And that's the Acrin 666 study that I mentioned. We purchased those data. It has over 200,000 ultrasound images, and we trained based on that. We received a very good average DICE score of 80%, AUC of 94% for lesion classification, and 90% recall for lesion detection. We've had a very good numbers, but we now are launching a new study of 800 patients that I shared a little bit earlier. That will feed into our next algorithm training and validation. And that will be, we will do a reader study after that as well.
Got it. That makes sense. What about, the difficult thing about AI is that it's so new, so the FDA and payers are still trying to understand how to regulate it, how to bill for it, et cetera. When you guys are fully commercial, is there a reimbursement pathway, and roughly what does that look like?
Luckily, AI in radiology is more advanced than other areas, and AI in imaging overall. There are some incidents or precedents of the AI being approved for ultrasound in our industry. They are small products. They don't cover a wide range of what we are looking to cover for. So the good news is there are some discussion already going. There are some direction from FDA and clear guidance of what to expect on the approval. And as CMS is thinking and, through all of that possibilities, we will be having some, we are having some strategies to make our AI a turnkey solution that's easier for the insurance providers to reimburse. Without going into so much detail, it's top of our mind. We know there is a lot of learning, and I'm closely watching what's happening in the industry.
Got it. And, something for those who are watching on YouTube and Spotify, I do want to bring up the product real quick. I have some questions specifically about it. So here is the product, right? So essentially it's that circular disc that you show as it goes over the breast. What are you using as conductive material for this imaging? Because, with regular ultrasound, you just do a little bit of gel. I mean, is this thing filled with gel, or what are you guys using for conductivity?
We use, and that what you see in the image is a wearable bra-like accessory. And it's like a product that goes up and down like a cardigan and adjusts to different sizes. We have 4 sizes of that bra, and that the scanner that you see on top, and we fill that with water. We use water as a coupling medium.
You use water, not gel.
Not gel. For this patient experience and also keeping the cost low for provider has been front and center in our product design. So when you think about accessibility in product design, water is accessible, inexpensive, and it gives a really good experience to the patients. And providers also like it because they don't need to purchase additional accessory product. And once this is sealed and connected, then we attach the scanner. On the back of the scanner, you see the ultrasound transducer that rotates in 360 degrees in 2 directions of donut and donut. We use a lot of machine learning in the back end to reconstruct the images and create a 3D image in the back end.
And and it could be that, so this is the part about ultrasound that's interesting, is that for traditional ultrasound, there's such a big focus on resolution, right? Which makes the devices more expensive. Is the resolution that high for yours? And then my follow on is that, is it technically necessary? Because if you're using AI, then hypothetically, like, you don't need like extremely high resolution images because the AI is going to be better at picking up nuanced things than the human eye. So Can you explain that for us?
Yes, definitely resolution is front and center for us. We want to make sure we are equivalent or better than what is the standard of care for ultrasound out there. We have a high resolution on our transducer. We are constantly working to improve that with machine learning. As you mentioned, our goal has been to rely on technology and machine learning to increase our resolution beyond what the hardware can provide. And we've been making a lot of tremendous progress. Once our data is out, we will be able to make claims.
Fantastic. No, it makes a lot of sense. What I like about this is that it fits into the category that I really enjoy, which is essentially taking hardware, applying software to it, and then by doing that, you're scaling the skills of a specialist. And so your call point or point of sale here is, would it technically be radiology, or are you guys looking to do a little bit larger scale and looking at primary care facilities?
Our early call points, we are focusing on areas that they have expertise in reading breast images, they have a captive audience, and they have a passion and a knack for technology. I would see our early adopters for sure. We need to have radiologists in the picture, but the radiologists could read images for a breast surgery center, or they could read images for mobile imaging clinic or federally qualified health centers in rural areas. So we're thinking differently about how we go to market than just focusing on what has been done in the past.
Got it. And so technically, who is your beachhead? Would it be primary care and family practitioners? Would it be radiologists? Who's going to be the most important group of clinicians for you guys?
That's a good question. I'd like to reserve this for when we are not publicly talking, but what I will tell you is our beachhead, we're going to focus on supplemental screening, and we're going to let the physician decide where this technology will be used. And we will focus on clinicians that value high efficiency in their workforce. They have a captive audience of women that is going there for different care, and they're looking for ways of providing comprehensive care to the woman when their woman is there, as well as the ones that have familiarity with reading ultrasound images. Think about it in the areas of that what you mentioned, OBGYN or like breast surgeons are all different ones. There are possibilities that we're going to pursue.
Got it.
We
And then
have a lot of organic inbounds, Omar. And you'll be surprised. There is a lot of people that I have not thought of, like functional medicine people, which do not like to think about sending patient in the first line there to radiation or X-ray machines. So there are a lot of interesting ways that we can open up the pie and increase access that is not possible with existing technologies.
got it. For the year, are there any conferences that you guys will be attending, whether having a booth or just attending in general, so that whether it's a clinician or investor, they want to perhaps meet up with you?
Definitely. We are going to be at RSNA, the Radiology Society of North America conference. I really like that show. It's a large show and there's a lot of people attend. San Antonio Breast Conference, SBI and ASBRS, which is SBI Society of Breast Imaging, and ASBRS, I forget, American Society of Breast Surgeons.
Fantastic. Well, perfect. Well, Neda, I want to thank you for coming on the show. And for the listeners, if you want to learn more, I want to direct you to the website. That's iSono Health. That's ISONO health.com. Another episode of the State of MedTech, and we'll see you all next time. Thanks for checking out this episode. If you want to do me a big favor and join so many other people who have helped grow this podcast, take a second and look below. If you're on Apple, give us 5 stars and write a short review. If you're on Spotify, just give us 5 stars. And if you're on YouTube, hit the like button. And most importantly, if you can, subscribe. We release so many different episodes that you may miss. Be sure to subscribe and turn your notifications on. You get extra points with me if you subscribe across all 3 channels. Thank you so much. And if you felt like this episode helped you, send this to somebody who'd really enjoy and appreciate it. Share and spread the love. We'll see you all next time.